Morning, folks. Morning. Lots to get through here this morning. All right, so let's get through it because things are changing quickly in this market. Like I've warned you, it's been a low volume move based on absolutely nothing. And this is what happens. You get one small headline and the tone shifts, okay? Because there's nothing really to prop us up. So let's have a look into this market. What have you had? Drift, low volume, right? Nothing. It's literally nothing. It's inflated on nothing. There's no bullish sentiment here. There's nothing, right? They're pricing back in the rate cut, which was already priced in here. And then we decided we weren't going to cut. And now we're back into no man's land, right? We're just back into the same level. Nothing's changed, folks. Nothing's changed. In fact, macro sentiment is looking worse and worse. And the lies and smoke and mirrors that you're seeing coming out are pretty horrific right now. And I can give you an example. Trump's comment yesterday saying that Black Friday sales were massive and the biggest they've ever been. Yes, they might look big, but the price of product was up 7%. The amount of products actually bought were down 11%, and 95% of it was bought on credit. And we all know at the moment that consumers are being unable to pay off their credit cards. Okay, so is it good? No, it's fluff, all right? Don't buy a shitty car with no engine under the hood. Understand what you're buying. We want to see if this market can come back down here and hold a good higher low. That, and only then, will I start to become confident in this market. What we've had this morning is Microsoft come out basically saying there's not as much demand for AI as they thought there was. Oh dear, well, this is a market ballooned on AI and everyone's freaking out right now. But we have to pay attention to what's actually happening in the charts. Inside bar. Yet again, we're going to go and open up inside. Now, what you want to do is reference yesterday's value areas, yesterday's New York session areas, because we are potentially going to find support in this sort of block here, all right? We will find weakness if we trade under this and reject it, all right? And that's when I expect there to be a rotation to 900 if we do that. Otherwise, right, any drift which comes down here and reclaims these levels, we're just going to chop again. And I tell you what, I will not be trading that. That will be exactly the same as me yesterday. That will be a leave alone day. I am not interested in trading inside this location here. You are asking to get chopped to death if you do that. Bulls want to be strong. They better start breaking out. Bears want to be strong. They better start holding a lower high under here. Anytime we're just doing this sideways, I have zero interest in trading it. I've been around far too long to get pulled into nonsense like that. All right, into the hourlies, and you can see how quickly that shifted sentiment. All right, I think it was in first 2 minutes, we dropped over 100 points. In 8 minutes, we've given up the whole bar from yesterday, right? That shows what happens when there's no volume, folks, all right? When there's no volume, when there's no structure, this is what happens. So overnight, what have we had? Well, a whole lot of nothing, all right? Sideways. Here was yesterday's dip, absorbed back up, sideways. Did they break out and hold? No, they didn't. So as soon as bad news came, what did that mean? All this low volume that we've had, bye-bye, and right back down to the bottom side. All right, so now we're testing yesterday's New York session low. This is your key pivot and sentiment, all right? Maybe they sweep it. Maybe today all they do is grind all the way back. They can easily do that and just do a big old inside bar of nonsense in here. This market will get fun if we start holding outside, or if we back test value and push down back towards previous weekly value. That is a trade setup for me. Failed look below is potentially a trade setup, although I really don't want to trade inside this. I really don't want to trade inside that. A reclaim of this, or any reclaim of previous day value area low, that is my no trade zone. I'm not trading inside of yesterday's value and previous day's value or overnight value. This is your death chop range, all right? It's showing you, there's your death chop, all right? It's telling you that's death chop. I don't want to trade inside that, all right? So bears have an opportunity, again, to take control here. If they're going to get really bullish, they better start breaking out and holding above key levels, which so far they've failed to do. All right, so I'm going to first be watching this morning any back test of basically 540, 550 to see if bears come in and defend this for a retest of this low. All right, if we get follow through, great, but the first trade will be from 550 down to 400s, 150 pointer. That's what I'm looking for. Any reclaim of 550 and drift higher, I'm not interested in touching it. I just have no interest in trading inside yesterday's value. You're asking for it. If we move up to here, you can see it very, very clearly. All right, this is a whole lot of bullshit that I was calling for yesterday. 3 drive higher, wash all the way down, reclaim it. 1, 2, 3 drive higher, can't go anywhere, wash all the way down. Does that look similar? It's the same move. We're boxed in. Right, I don't want to trade inside the top level of this box. I want bears to come in and offer an actual legit trade setup now that they've had a sentiment shift. That's the play for me. If it doesn't do it, it doesn't do it. It is what it is. Okay, let's move into lower time frames, and we're actually going to go through quite a few bits here today, because what's really important for me right now is these spiders. All right, you know that the 180s have been a big level. I mean, it's a big gamma level. I talked about it yesterday. All right, they've got huge gamma exposure. Sorry, 180s at 680. All the time they're holding 680, this can squeeze back up. All right, 680 is your over under. You can see we haven't even taken out previous day low. We've got lots down here. If they want to come and wash down here, let's just call it 78. All right, if 680 breaks, then you're looking at 78. And look how ridiculous these moves are. This is what I'm trying to get through to you at the moment. These are not healthy moves. These are asking to get crushed. All right, that's a 10-point move is available there, and it would not surprise me. It will happen at some point. They cannot sustain this unless they're really going to break out, which they so far have not done. They've just gone sideways. We are boxed in SPY between a gamma level and between the 84s. All right, if we zoom out of that and see what that means, we are not creating a higher high. All right, I don't care about your trend lines. The count is here: 1, 2, lower low, lower low. Until we create a higher high versus this swing point, this market is stuck, and it will eventually give up if they cannot break out. This is why I want to be very, very cautious. All you have here is 4 days basically inside building liquidity. They can stay here. They can keep pinning and pinning and pinning and pinning and pinning and waiting for the Fed announcement. Sure, they can absolutely do that. All right, so understand where you are in the count. This still has the potential to roll over, and maybe here we set a higher low. Maybe then it finds some strength, because if I was a buyer, I wouldn't really want to be buying up here, right? You're so close to the all-time highs here. You're trying to buy a 10-point squeeze for end of year. Psychopath move, all right? Psychopath move when we've drifted, what's this? 30 points. Drifted 30 points without a pullback. Very, very, very dangerous to be trying to play that on the spiders, all right? So understand that. Dixie's starting to pull back a bit, all right? So failed to break out and sustain over 100. The carry trade is still looking like it's going to be a problem next month. Let's have a look at the VIX, because we're boxed in on the VIX as well. So there you go. There's your box in the VIX. What do I say is dangerous about this? You can see this 2 drive, all right, and failure down here, and we're making higher lows, right? When did that last happen? There's your 2 drive to the same point, 2 drive, and making higher lows. And what happened next? A rip up. I'm very concerned about that. It can take months. It might take another two months to happen, but this is concerning. The VIX really needs to start breaking down back into this box down here for bulls to really continue this. If we keep holding here, the tighter and the tighter it is, this low here, I don't know why they're holding that, but they are holding it, and I'm observing it, because this looks like a bit of a replication, and I'm very concerned about this move happening either this side of Christmas or early January. So I have my eye on that. All right, this move here is the same setup at the moment, so I am concerned about it, no doubt about it. Also got one eye on this 30-year. All right, if we get back into these levels, and I am watching the JPY trade like I talked about, and it looks a bit uncontrollable breaking out at the moment. All right, that's it. That's what I'm watching. That's what I'm looking for, folks. I couldn't make it clearer for you this morning. All right, we need to see a rejection of previous day's value. If we see that rejection of previous day's value, area low, I'm interested. If we don't see it, I'm probably not interested in doing much. All right, so I want to see a lower high created either here or in front of there. I really don't want to see us drift back into this. All right, we will lose edge if we drift back into that. So that is what we're looking for in this morning's session. I want to be very careful. If we start reclaiming it, if you guys like trading range and you want to consider that a look below and fail and go, by all means. But again, we haven't taken out this low. All right, so we've left liquidity there, which is why I want to be more focused on this trade here before anything else. If they protect that low and do this, this will be a dirty move, but I won't get caught in it because I will not participate up here. All right, so that is me making it as clear as possible for you guys and what I'm going to look for today and the reasons as to why. There has been a sentiment shift. You know, this market, it's very resilient. It might well just shake it off. It's done a pretty good job of shaking it off the last few months, I would say. A pretty good job. But we will see. All right, let's see who's in here. Morning, everybody. See if my chat can catch up. Morning, Jim, Jeff, Toby, Chris Thorne, Larry, Info Risk, Silem, Otis, DK, Gerald, Sergio, Patrick, Christy, Full Forward, Troy, Gangster Garbear, Ken, Bart, Myron, Jerry. Trying to catch up. Green Otter, Toby, Idris, Array, Danny Snipes, Miguel, Priska. Oh, this has jumped around a bit. Noah, One-on-One, Brandon, Mikey, The Law, Ejecto, Arrow King, Dim Sum Derby, what a great name. Roscoe, Clint, Willa Williams, Ty Turner, Nico, Greg, Patrick, Jake, Rock, Lou Riley, Mark, Live Your Purpose, Thunder, Austin, Patrick, Jason. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, let's see what we get. Starting to see a reaction here without sweeping that low. All right, so same thing here. Let's just see if we can drift up this morning. I guess the one thing we didn't look at actually was the MAC. We can go through very, very quickly, but you would have seen the same sentiment starting to come off. All right, Apple, good sales. All right, so that's holding in a range. Going to open up flat. Here comes the weakness. All right, anything chip related. Remember, Apple, safe haven from chips. Amazon gapping down. Google gapping down. Meta gapping down. Anything chip related. Microsoft getting absolutely hammered. Nvidia gapping down. This is why I didn't look at it. And Tesla gapping up. All right, so the safe havens away from chips are Apple. Everything else is getting clobbered on that Microsoft news. All right, so I have to just wait and see. The first couple minutes might be a bit shaky here, folks, because that was a pretty big wash in what, 5-10 minutes. You lost 240 points. You lost the first 100 points in 2 minutes, right? So just be aware of that. Volatility will be high. Just have to see what they want to do here with this. They might consider it an overreaction. We will see. We will see. Did any of you get any nice trades yesterday afternoon? There are a couple washes and a couple grindbacks up. That's what this market seems to be liking, or enjoying doing at the moment. Snap downs and grind all the way back up, and then snap downs and grind all the way back up. Just what we've seen this morning. Same thing. Snap down. Looking to see if it can grind back up now. Just going to get a tissue here before we open. Just caught my wife stuffing her face full of pie this morning. 6:30 a.m. Pecan pie on the go. Leftovers from Thanksgiving, still getting eaten. All right, here we go. Ten seconds here, folks. Watching this area, watching VWAP, all those good things. Let's see how we act. Shelf is all the way up at 600, really, if they can get up there. Let's see. Sell pressure so far coming straight away this morning. They didn't take out the low, remember. I'd love to see a squeeze higher first. All right, lots of imbalances above from those big washes. Love to see a squeeze higher first, but at the moment, failing to even reclaim 500. Mega weakness in the market. VIX getting stuck in front of previous day's high right now. They might well try and wash down for these lows, which it looks like they're trying to do right now. And we've got errors. Can I get orders out here above? Can I move this? No. Second day of Ninja Trader being funny at the open. Okay. I'd love to see this squeeze higher first. Don't want a straight failure, but we might just get straight failures here. Booklet's heavy. I want to let this shake out a bit longer before I get involved. Because we did base down here before curling. Sorry, move this up a bit for you. Would love a retest of 540 before we do anything else. Really would, but we might not get it. At the moment, we've failed 500s, but I want to see if we can get up into here. Come on, market, go and do it. And then see if we can get a reaction up there. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting patiently to see if we can get up into here, maybe even above, but ideally not above. Ideally a failure here, but they might drift it into VWAP to start the day. Let's see. Apple finding a bid. Remember, Apple had positive news. It's hanging around its all-time highs right now. Sales looking better than expected. More shipments of the iPhone. Google's gone red to green. Tesla having a good day. Everything else getting hammered. Microsoft over 2.33% down. All right, failing that high again. Back to the New York Open. Failing the New York Open again. We still haven't tested that 540 that we're looking for. Still not tested it. We will have to see. Apple might do a bit of the legwork here, if so. Failing that New York Open again, not through it, just hanging sideways in a range at the lows. This is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous here. VIX failed previous day high, got absolutely slammed at the open, back under 17s, coming back towards its flow zones. It's an ugly, ugly open to the day. So I look across. Not what you want to see across everything right now. Spiders back over those 680s, so that gamma level holding that we talked about. Here's the move into the 540s. If they squeeze through this, they will probably go for VWAP. You would want them to sort of fail up here. This is what I'm looking for, some form of fail up here. If they squeeze through it, they'll probably go to VWAP. And that's going to make it pretty hard to trade because we're going to be back inside of yesterday's value if they do that, which is not going to be ideal. We are seeing some sellers come and try and join the tape here. So let's see if this is the move. These 500s are going to be key now. Don't trust this market one bit. I've made that very, very clear for a few days now, and that has not changed this morning. Even worse, I would say, this morning. Even more dangerous. Given what they've done the last few days, if they reclaim value, they can go right back up to those highs as if nothing happened, as if the news was not important. And leaving that previous day New York low is not going to be pretty if they do that. Well, let's see here. Make your mind up, market. Still holding these 500s. No break below the 500s. Still holding 500s. Big buyer just tried to come in here. He might get himself caught soon. Gosh, market, what are you doing? Back to these 500s, back to this New York Open. This is the key level. And they're still bidding off that for now. If we start flushing this, I think we're going to go for that previous day low that we talked about. It's trying to stay heavy here. I'm watching this carefully now. Still keeps finding a bid at that New York Open. Watching this carefully to see if we get follow through downside. Here we come. Here we come. Much better. Lovely. Okay. Can we pop up and fail 500 now? Don't want to get caught in a range, seeing heaviness come into this tape. Can we pop up and fail 500? Don't want to play for a reclaim of 500. Need it to fail this 500 that we just washed from. Be careful. Don't want to get caught at this low of day or New York low of day. So there's the pop to 5. Or just in front of 5, that New York Open. That's your over-under. If they reclaim it, there's no trade here. They're trying to reclaim it. God, are we going to open up boxed in? Really, market? You're going to open up boxed in? Really, market? We're going to open up boxed in and do this morning. Here's your range. We should come down for this, all right? If they're going to be heavy versus this is what we should do. We should come down for that white line, but they are struggling here. Sellers currently off the opening move this morning are caught under 75. Sellers currently are caught underneath 75. They're going to need to see follow through under 75, otherwise they are going to cause a squeeze higher. That's where they are. Once they get followed through under 75, we will go for that previous day New York low. Bookmap just paused on me. Great. They're caught. There's going to be no trade here for me. Two-way tape. We're just not doing anything. Oh, God. Hands off the mouse. They can't make their fucking minds up again. Oh, my God. What a shit market. There's no strength. There's no strength from the sellers. They got themselves caught. That opening move this morning underneath, 76, 77. They had two attempts, got themselves caught there. We've never traded back into it with strength. We've held it every time. So buyers are in control from 73 right now. And I don't like the auction at the high. It doesn't look like buyers got trapped up there. So we've got to wait to move outside of this box right now. We're boxed in. We're going to have to wait to move outside of this box we're currently in. Nothing's changed. Look, we're still at the New York Open. This is a terrible open, folks. If you want to see what boxed in looks like, this is it. This is a terrible open. Google about to go green to red. Bears have a chance here to at least take out that low, and they are just failing to do anything. It's the same story. I feel like we want to take out the low, but we're just failing to do it, and that's what's notable at the moment. And it's probably because those sellers this morning got trapped at those 70s that we talked about. Once they get out of the way, there's probably a wash. But at the moment, maybe we want to go all the way back to VWAP at the moment. So it's starting to feel like just chop here. Lower highs, higher lows. Once something snaps, it will get nasty. They've got to get under the 70s, these bears. That's what they're looking for. If they keep poking down here and being absorbed, they're going to get themselves in trouble. And again, no follow through. Okay, we're just still. Here are the 70s. This is the level. This is the level they've got to get through. This is where the bears are stuck. They've got to get through this for downside action. Like I said, the opening 2 minutes this morning, they got stuck under 76, 77, 76. That's what they got stuck. These two wicks here are full of sell pressure, and there was a buyer absorbing them. They need this move here. This is what they're looking for. They've got to be very careful because I know that they got stuck here. That needs to flip. There's been a passive buyer here. They're trying again. This is heavy, heavy tape, and they're being absorbed so far. So there's definitely been a passive buyer here. If they snap through this, we're going to go for that New York low. All right. Here's the expansion in New York. They're trying to get down to this now. We should get follow through down to there now. That's what I'm looking for now. Can we see follow through down to there? Please, 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 market. Don't want reclaim of those 70s because we came in very heavy there. Still no trade for me in this second attempt. Looking for this second attempt to go lower. It's still no trade for me. If these buyers get caught in this shove up into 80, I'll consider it. But just waiting for this candle. We've got a long time left for this candle to close right now. He did just expand the lower day, and they did just find a bid. But I'm waiting to see if this sweeps. Watching the New York Open again. Need this candle to close. Another 30 seconds left. Don't want to be premature here. Yeah, RTY strong because you're seeing a rotation out of chips. Every time you see a rotation out of chips, you're going to see movement into Apple and RTY and stuff like that. Relative weakness in the Qs. We're 0.5% down. Everything. Rest of the market looks okay. So the breadth elsewhere probably okay. Especially with the cash injection from the Fed into the banks to try and save them and their positions in Bitcoin. There you go. Reclaim this one. I didn't touch it. Still we're boxed in. All right. Still we're boxed in. Just got this feeling they need to get up to VWAP and see what happens. Maybe even close the gap. But I really don't want to trade like I've talked about. I don't really want to trade up here. They may be that they need to come up here, but I really don't want to take that trade. I really need them to reject this if we're going to play lower. The Tesla and Apple, the only ones red. Everything else getting hammered here this morning. VIX still trading downside since the open. It's not good. Yes, grinding back up to VWAP. So that might come into play here if they start rejecting VWAP and cause sell pressure in the Qs here. Might well come into play. SPY's closed its gap, I believe. Yes, closed its gap pretty much. There or thereabouts. And still we're boxed in. Smaller range today, 85 points of range. The draw for me is that low, that white line. That is the draw. But finding a way to get involved in this now has become hard because of how they've built it out this morning. Good rejection of the gap there. Well, the level was good. The value area high, value area low from yesterday was good. Now we're just stuck at the open. Still think this wants to trade lower. It's just when is SPY done pushing? It's over its VWAP. It's pretty much closed its gap. Maybe a cent or two away. The VIX is still dripping downside. Just waiting to see if there's a sentiment shift coming. Yeah, we do have PMI 945 and ISM at 10. So let's see. Yeah, there might be PMI 10 at 945, ISM at 10. So they might well be waiting for that. Back down for those lows. Big rejection on spiders there. SPY still above its New York Open, so I'm just watching that to see if sentiment comes to stay heavy for the day. We start losing those New York Opens on the spiders. So far, it's held that 680 at big gamma level on SPY, so I am aware of that. That's being propped up so far. It has been propped up for a number of days now. We opened under it, or we traded under it pre-market, reclaimed it in the open, traded to it at the low of the New York session, and found a bid. Found a bid at, what's that, 95 or something on spiders. Still we're boxed in. Still we are boxed in. We should be taking out the lows here, and we're not. That's the story of the tape so far. We should be taking out the lows, and we're not. That's been the story of the tape since April, isn't it, really, when we think about it? Rejection of New York Open again there. We really should be taking out lows, and we're not. So SPY back to VWAP. Let's see if it finds a bid through VWAP or if they sell it. This is the third attempt it's had here, so I'm slightly concerned that a squeeze is coming here. I'd love to see some follow through in this market today after a day of no follow through yesterday. Here comes the squeeze because SPY's reclaimed VWAP, and we might go all the way back up to previous day value area low, and if they reclaim that, VWAP is possible. So markets just got nothing to do here. No way I'm trading this long side. You would have to be a psychopath to trade this underneath value long side, in my opinion. Kind of amazing how this market's acted for, I'd say, quite a while now. These like big moves, like these 200-300 point moves, and then we get served with this. Sellers keep trying in these 80s and they're not getting their way. They're not getting their way. They're coming right up to that old pivot from yesterday into these 500s. Incredible, the lack of follow through. Market shrugging off the news by the looks of it. Nothing to see here, the market saying everything's fine. Still at this New York Open. Nothing's changed, folks. From the moment we opened New York, we're still just in that exact same point. Waiting to see if we see a sentiment shift here, follow through. I'm telling you now, sellers cannot sell under 80. They tried a few times this morning at the 70s. They've been absorbed. I'd say the key trigger now will be those 70s. They need to get follow through under 70s, and they're not seeing that still. Still not seeing that. Here's the 80s again. There's someone absorbing the tape down there. Back to the 500s. I'd be very concerned about a squeeze out all the way up here right now. They've tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, and they're trying too low, and they're not getting their way. They have the chance to take control, but they are struggling. I want to see if SPY cracks 680, you're going to see like more follow through. All right, so you can have that alert there. I've still got it from yesterday. 680 is the level on SPY. You get underneath that, and we can see all hell break loose. That's 70 again here. Can they trade through this 70 and trade down to these sort of 420s or something? And they trade under 70 and get down into 420s. So far this morning, the answer has been no. Spider back to that New York Open. If it lets go this New York Open and it trades under 80s, you will get follow through. But at the moment, you're not seeing that. They're trying here. 450 is the next spot that they need to break down. Here we go. Here's the trade down to 450s. Now, can they find? No, still a pacifier down there. So they still can't find strength. Instant reclaim of 70s and attempt to 80s. This is messy. It's looking better for a short, but it just... Watching SPY into 680, I think it's coming. You just... Why I'm careful is last time we traded into 680 on SPY, the reaction was ginormous, wasn't it? We know it's a huge level. And look at that. Absorbed again and SPY right back to that New York Open again. Come on, bears. Today's your day to take control. You have news to help you. You've got to have some follow through. We're not trading a catalyst. We're trading price action. We're not trading a catalyst. I'm not trading the news. I'm trading the chart in front of me. There's a big difference. I'm not a fundamental trader. I'm a technical trader. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking at order flow and calling it out for you. Buyers step back in again there. So 70s and 80s reclaimed again from buyers. Sellers failing miserably to do anything today. SPY held in front of 680, reclaimed New York Open, traded straight back to VWAP. Found a rejection so far in VWAP. This is getting messier and messier and messier by the second. Big selling coming in this time. They're having another go to trade lower. Failing there again at 70 and 80. So I'm giving you the levels. But the sellers, I'm telling you, they keep refresh selling 70 and there is someone absorbing that. Until he's out the way, you're going to struggle to move lower. Someone with endless funds is passively on the tape, soaking everything up from 70 and below. I'm telling you, I can see it in front of me. SPY back to view up again. I'm still not having another attempt at this. This is far too risky with how we're ranging. You're looking at 13, 40 point ATRs like that, and it can change to 100 plus very quickly. Sellers should take control, but they're struggling. Big rejection on the VWAP on SPY, but you need a 5-minute close. And again, your 680 is your level on SPY until we trade under that. That's where you're going to see weakness if we close under 680. Currently trading at 680.57. But what it can't do is reclaim its VWAP right now. That's clear as day. $680.30s. Do they drop the floor on this? They're trying to sell hard here again. Aggressive selling here in 66, still being absorbed. We're not moving lower. They are trying. Honestly, they're really trying, and they're not moving lower. Still someone on the tape here, as you can see. Every attempt. Now it feels like it's getting close. That was the first shift. There you go. Okay, let's see if we get follow through now. Bang! Thank you. Thank you, market. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nice. All right, watching for this white line there. Can you hear me say it? Now we're close. Now we're getting follow through. Can literally see it happen on the tape in front of me. All right, so you need to see a rejection of 60 now for follow through. White line is your target. This is your target, TP1, and then we can get down into these. Boom. Here you go, folks. Here we go. Just had to be patient. Much better. Much, much better. You're going to get this low here. So I'd be looking for a cover point into 15, and then you're looking for 320s, and then previous week value area high, 290s, and then we see if we get weak. Well, that was good first trigger. You need to see this reject now. If they reclaim, you got to be flat on this position. You just cannot afford this to reclaim and start squeezing. News in 7 minutes. Yeah, there is news. Top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Right back to VWAP. Wow. Well, you're asking for a lot for a 25k drop right now. You know, it's 500 points away. I think be realistic. Look at this squeeze out. Did we flip on the tape there? That delta flip was massive. That was a massive delta flip. I'm leaving this alone for a bit. Again, they protected that low. That's not a good look. I think we'll come back for it later. There's no way we protect that. There's just no way. But clearly someone quite happy to absorb the tape down there all morning. So we sold hard through that seller at 70.80, got down to 30. Big sellers came in from 45 to 30. Then the delta flipped on the next candle. Aggressive buying stepped in, 50, 60, 70, 80. And now we just have to wait and see. Did we just tap? Oh, there we go. That's why. It's the gamma on SPY again. So we traded under 680. We traded a low for a number of seconds to 79.74, and then we closed straight back above it. All right, so that last 5-minute candle traded down to 79.70, got absorbed, closed right back at 680.61, and we're currently trading there right now. It's all about that gamma exposure on SPY right now. It's the dealers. They don't want it under that level for whatever reason. They do not want it under that. I did catch my money in that flush though. I got aggressive with that, so I'm up about 600 per account right now. So I'm all right with it. I can show you before you're all like whatever. Yeah. All right. So I can just sit still if I need to. SPY back at VWAP here. Let me check the breadth out. How long we got till news? 3 minutes. Let me check the breadth out in this market. I mean, yeah. Spider's looking very strong. Financials are all green. Software application is green. Consumer electronics is green. Healthcare is green. Consumer services, sort of. Consumer defense is green. Real estate is green. Energy is green. Utilities are green. Basic materials are green. Whole of market's green outside of big tech, basically. The big losers today. Crowd, Microsoft, LRCX, basically all the semis. STX, WDC, Micron, MU, AMD, Nvidia, INTC, Empower. Those are the big losers. Big winners right now as I look across the board. Well, copper, all the metals are trading up. MRK, PFE, so the healthcare sector trading up. Is that accurate? Tesla trading up? Tesla's trading up, 2% up. So yeah, the breadth looks pretty good. It's only tech week, so you want to be concerned about that. It's not like we're having a very weak market. It's just the Qs have relative weakness right now, all down to that news. And we found a bid, so I'm currently just leaving this alone. News coming out here in 90 seconds. We're already back to that New York open. So failed to take out yesterday's New York low. Do I ever trade gold? I have taken a short on gold earlier this year, but I was long on GLL. Is it GLL? GLS? One of the ETFs, can't remember. The short gold ETF, I was long once we peaked out, but I haven't touched it since. When did I enter the short? Once I saw the tape change. It was only a quick short. Somewhere around here it would have been. Once the tape changed and I saw the passive buyer get nailed. So somewhere in here. Wherever I called that, wherever I said the tape's starting to shift. Okay, I'm like looking at it now. Here comes the weakness. Probably just in this 2 minutes. That's all it was. And it didn't get to my target. TP1 was here, so I had to take some off on the flush down. And never got anywhere near down here, and we're seeing strength now. So, I mean, I have to obey the tape. If the tape doesn't want to move lower, then we don't move lower. Trade whatever you're better at trading, like whatever your stats suit, back test, however that you like to trade. I mean, like, NQ is very violent. The ATR is up right now on NQ, so you can make a lot of money, lose a lot of money. Here comes the pop. So we might be going back for this previous day value area low and New York session VWAP again. If we start reclaiming this, this is the zone I don't want to trade in today. Some of you like rotation traders, maybe you like this. I don't like this as a long if we've left this, right? If we'd taken this, then maybe I'd be more willing to take this trade up here. But right now, the fact that we've left this in with so much liquidity built, I'm not taking that. That is a high risk trade in my opinion. So this is previous day's value. So here is yesterday's volume. Yesterday's volume is traded here. These are your levels within that volume. If we don't reject this to come lower and reclaim it, maybe you want to trade this move to point of control. I won't be trading that, but if that is a range rotation that you like, then you can take that, right? So I'm telling you what's available there for those of you who like trading those rotations. I'm watching SPY back into closes gap right now. Buyers just got caught up there into and above 20 on that last shove. That last shove up 520. Buyers got caught above 520 there. No doubt about it. Doesn't mean it's the auction stops there. I'm just telling you what I've seen. Depends whether they lift this offer and let them through. There's lots of liquidity all the way up to 50 right now sat on the book. Oh, are they going to lift this offer at 25? It's only an 83 lot. Imagine they lift it and just let them squeeze out here. Why would you stop it short? There you go. Lifting that offer. Filled there. Here they go. Yeah, lifting it. And this is what they should do. They should just let them run through now. No point stopping it short. If you're a short seller, you wouldn't want to short here right now. So you can see VWAP and previous day value area, like this is going to be a massive level. All right, here is a massive level. If they protect this, maybe a range rotation back down. But, you know, I can see them doing this at this point. It's not a trade I'm going to take, but I'm making it clear for you in case it's something you want to do. SPY now back through its gap. So officially green on the day for the spiders. So RTY, YM and SPY all green on the day. Yes, I should say. All green on the day. We talked about the broader market. Healthcare and finance is very green today. Big aggressive buying stepping in here. You go to the 50s. I'm going to come right up for Globex by the look of it, which would be 70s. Big aggressive buying. So the bulls stepping back in. We need to zoom out here and see, like you might very well have a W here, which sets up this rotation back to previous day point of control. If they get that previous day value, like I said, I have no interest in trading in this area today. I was very clear yesterday. I had no interest in trading in this area yesterday for this reason, right? It's too risky. They do this. This is not a trend. Same here. I don't want to trade here. We've got buyers trapped above us right now. Sellers trapped at the lows trying to force down. This is no man's land. Just want to let this peter out and see what it wants to do. I am not going to get caught in rotation. There is no chance you will catch me getting caught in rotation. Anyone who's joined me enough times knows I do not like trading rotation, especially in markets where both sides are trapped. All right, it's very different to trading like an IB rotation. This is a market currently where we have many buyers trapped up here. Remember, this is a 2-week balanced range up here as well of supply. They got caught, washed on. So buyers are trapped over here. Sellers are trapped from 80 and below. All right, and now we're in between these levels. All right, so you'd expect some reaction up here, but the market's been very resilient. It has been very resilient. All right, if you're bullish and you like trading rotation, what you'd want to see is some hold of this to complete that move to previous day point of control. Now let's get some volume on here. Now we've gone. All right, you'd want them to hold previous day value to get to previous day point of control. Gap fill is the yellow line here, and then previous day value area high. If you are playing a bullish rotation, that's what you'd want. I'm somewhat skeptical knowing that above this, everyone's stuck. All right, so I think that's still possible, but I will not just be trying to front run this or get front side of it, because if they want to keep going higher, they will. A bit like yesterday. Took the rotation from yesterday's IB low. There was a buyer there holding it with a passion. There was indeed a buyer holding it up with a passion. You're right. Every drop from 70 and below, he just absorb. So that's a good read on the tape from you, full forward. Do I look at the tick chart? No, not really. Not really. Tick and ad I don't really use, but I've never found edge with it, but many others do. It's just not. I've never found edge with it personally. VIX getting absolutely crushed, right? Coming all the way down to 1650, closed its own gap now, coming back down towards previous day low on the VIX. So if you're bullish, you would want this to hold this previous day value area low / VWAP, somewhere around there. That's what you would want to see. Needs to hold this kind of level. If you don't see this hold, it's going to drift all the way back down to its shelf of volume, which you can see on your chart. Same for spiders. You want to see it if you're bullish, you'd want to see it hold PDC here. Okay, but remember, the reason I don't like this is we have a huge amount of everyone who bought, right, by the close for the gap up is stuck right now. So these buyers equal resistance or supply. This is why I don't like the rotations in this market. But if you are very, very bullish, if you've seen something high time frame, then that's the move for you. But this is annoying because it's peaked out. It hasn't got here and didn't fail here. It's peaked out in the middle of the two. So from a technical point of view, it's not very nice. Wasn't a bad auction at the high. I don't like that we've had 3 candles up there, but I would say, like I talked about, 70s, all those candles, we had market buying above 70s and we didn't move higher, which means there was a passive seller up there. He's actually still on the book up there at 80. Let me check the delta on Bookmap. Do we have any outliers? 50? No, we need to go up to 70s. Yeah, 65, 69. Yeah, 69. 70 was a very highly traded level. Stands out like a sore thumb on the profile. SPY coming back to its VWAP, so it's back to PDC. If SPY does not hold PDC and VWAP, that means it's rejecting those participants who were stuck there from pre-market, same as on NQ. All right, it's just unfortunate NQ didn't get all the way up to previous day point of control. If you start failing previous day value here, value area low, if this is a look inside and a fail, you want to be careful if you are very bullish about this, because we still have not taken, this has been building liquidity. If you see a failure here, I'd be very, very careful, especially if we trade back underneath this. This is where that buyer had been trying to eat and eat and eat. There's your 2 leg. If they fail here and you see that rotation, you'll see heaviness. But the broader market has been green. They are trying to buy this back up here and they're not getting their way. I can tell you that now. They're trying to buy this back up here and they're not getting their way. They've had 1, 2, 3 attempts in this sort of 30 to 50 range to participate as a buyer. So I would say sellers are in control all the time. We're rejecting 46 to 53. All the time they keep rejecting that. Sellers, well, they're not in control, but they have the ability to take control of this range for a rotation lower. Any reclaim of that, then I think you get a new high of day. Passive selling on the tape here. You can see they keep trying to bid it up. And even with the delta, we are not moving higher. Here you go. There you go. So delta just telling the story there, folks. So a little flush down to VWAP. I'd say the same levels again now. So buyers got trapped there from 30 to 40 now. 30 to 44. All right, so they're going to retest these areas where all those market buying participants, aggressive buyers came in and they didn't get their move. And that's going to be the level 30 to sort of 44, might as well just call it 45. All right, 30 to 45. Buyers need to reclaim that. Failing to reclaim that, they will catch themselves and get themselves caught. Like I said, this can be a look into yesterday's value, drift under, rejection of what previous day value or low. If they keep rejecting this, this is the shelf that they're going to trade back and forth and back and forth. Buyers need to see this. Sellers just want to see this right now. They've got a clear target below, and there has been a passive buyer down here in the 70s and 80s. Even before we put this volume on, I kept talking about him to you guys here all day, all right? And I played his pain point, and once he reclaimed, I'm out. But this is the rotation between these right now. Buyers need this, and sellers really want that. Maintain your price alerts at 680s. SPY currently trapped between close and VWAP right now. So it's starting to coil and get a bit tight down here. Can still looks good. Still intact here on the SPY, but definitely you're in a rotation and you've got buyers stuck above and sellers stuck beneath. So I maintain what I said on Twitter last night. I maintain until we see SPY let go of 680. I don't think you see more pain in the market. That is definitely a dealer's level. All right, I'm going to get a refill on coffee while this shakes out. Tricky market today, folks. You're still inside of the 15-minute range. All right, so we're not really finding acceptance outside of this right now. All right, so that's telling you sellers have the ability. They have the ability to complete this rotation. If you took this, I don't blame you in taking this. Like, I'm kind of okay with where I'm at the moment on the day. I don't blame you for taking that as a sell or look above and fail, but that needs to be TP1 and this is TP2, and weakness can be all the way down here. But we're not really seeing a weakness come into the market, broader market, which is why I'm just waiting. You are starting to see SPY come back down and try and test its New York Open. I think if we start flushing New York Open, if we see a rotation out of the broader market, let me just check what's going on here. I lost that page. Still looking okay. Broader market still all right for now. Yeah, it's just tricky. These 500s. I think there's a flush potentially coming in this market. All depends if we get a rotation broader. SPY still holding on right now at VWAP. Problem is what we're seeing, again, just happened the last two candles. Sellers tried to sell those lows at 500. Didn't get their way. So why we're just getting these whipsaws. So in here, you had aggressive selling and we didn't move lower. So you've got that passive buyer, probably the same guy who was at 70s and 80s, probably sat here now trying to absorb. I'd say all the time this rejects though, if we can reject and come under here, any liquidity built under here will be used to sell. I don't think they save this again. I really don't. Like, they can save it here where we're at and they can save it above this. But if we get stuck underneath here and we start building volume down here, this will be used to trade lower because bulls would have had the attempt, rejection of value, look above and fail, rejection of value. We reject this, especially if broader market rolls over with it. Right, it's a bit early right now, but if you took these, I kind of don't blame you. for taking those. As long you should be covering some into VWAP and New York Open and then just waiting and seeing. But for me, it's beyond my risk appetite right now. "45 minutes into the day, we're basically still where we started. We've not moved really." There's someone trying to step in here. It's these guys that are stuck down here in 40s. I don't know if you can see it in Bookmap. These are the guys that are stuck in the 40s and 20s sell side. We're coming back into this shelf at the moment where they absorbed. This is this big participant here. Do you know what? I'll put it in Bookmap so you can see. Okay, we used this buyer's pain, roll over, sold back down to the lows. But we had big selling down here without the ability to move lower, which means there's a passive buyer sat down here. He got his breakout above 500s. Okay, and we're coming back and testing this same level where he just absorbed and absorbed and absorbed. All right, so just this level here where he's just been gobbling everything up. And you can see, like, he got pained. He probably passively bought even more here, came back above. We're still holding this level. So until there's a break underneath this level where this guy's been absorbing the tape, we're not going to get a bigger move. He's basically putting his wall down saying, hey, I don't want to move under this right now. And this basically coincides with New York Open VWAP on SPY as well. Same level. And I'm going to clear it. There we go. Yeah, it's that same guy probably for now. Indicator at the bottom on what? On Bookmap. That's just delta. That's your CVD, cumulative volume delta. I don't really pay too much attention to it. I actually look at it more on a 5-minute chart. It's funny you say that about bonds. I was looking at bonds yesterday because they've been really weak. There's no one's had any interest in bonds, and sometimes I just wonder to take the opposite side of the trade to everyone. Bookmap's always been a big part of my trading. I've always used it. You've just not always had it on the screen. Even from my small cap days, I've always used Bookmap. I tell you why, because I can't read the level 2 and the tape without it. Like if I see the tape, like when you see the tape flash red and it moves really quick, I can't see the size going through that quick enough, but I can on Bookmap because it leaves it there for me to hover my mouse over and recheck. So I don't care about it like while we're just sort of doing nothing like we are now. I care about it when I come to a level. So I care about, you know, Bookmap or footprints or anything like that, or level 2, however you want to read it, when we come to here. I care about it when we're around here, In between this, I don't really care so much because I don't really care about the charts at all at that point. I try and turn my brain off when we're not at a level. Wait for it to come to a level of interest, and then I start caring. Same about the 1-minute chart. Like I'm looking at the 5-minute chart most of the time until we come into a level, or even an hourly chart until we come into a level. We have just gone wick to wick on the hourly. We just missed it. All right, so if we go to an hourly, we're trading into this right now. Right, so we're leaving these participants stuck. Imagine you were a buyer here overnight or yesterday at the close. All right, and just think about what the tone's been. if we go to a daily, think about what the tone has been. Buy the close, buy the open, sell the close. Buy the close, buy the open, sell the close. Buy the previous day close, buy the open, sell the close. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Think what happened last night. If you bought the close or bought the open, you're underwater right now. But the pain's going to come when we trade under the 400s. That's where we get the move underneath that. Before that, like I talked about, this is still an inside bar. All right, we can, if they just want to pin this, all right, if market makers want to pin this and do this until next Wednesday, and maybe we do the cut, all right, and then they drive it up into this, and maybe they resell it from there on the Thursday, or maybe, you know, Powell says, fuck your cut, was only kidding, and we drop down. I don't know, but we can pin in here a while, and we can do something like this. All right, we can do something like this. Pin it in here all the way into Christmas. It can happen, folks. It can absolutely happen. We're just trading like basically at the mean, like 5-day, 20-day, 50-day. We're not at the top bowl. We're not at the bottom bowl. For me, this pullback is not enough. I want to see like a 2-day pullback or something into here and have this protected for buyers. And then if buyers protect that, then I know, okay, game's on. We want to go back to highs. But buying up here, I don't think any, I think this is the problem, right? I don't think you're going to see any institutions really want to buy up here right now, right? If they're going to get a pullback, they want it down to here to bid up for the rest of the year. If they really are adamant on buying, that is my personal opinion, what I think. So that's a second look into value and fail here. 2 looks into previous day values and fail here. This just feels like a much, much heavier move right now. You like Nvidia for NQ because they're heavily correlated. I mean, they are correlated, but like you just need to be aware of things like if you look at the mag today, all right, Tesla's up 2.77%, Google's up 0.60%, Apple's up 0.44% and trading at, you know, around all-time highs. Nvidia's down 0.5%. You know, the chip names are down. Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, with Microsoft being the weakest one. You're in a mixed bag. So while you might say there's correlation there, if you look at it as a whole on the mag, if they're equally weighted, we're 0.17% down on the day and NQ 0.28% down on the day. It's, you know, we're not selling off everything. The mag is not selling off. The breadth is not seeing. Let me open this up for you if it will let me. If we look at the whole S&P, right, we're not seeing the market sell off. All right, we're seeing a few names sell off. So if we're trying to be short on NQ, what are we really short again? 1, 2, 3 names, 4 names maybe? It's not a lot going on, all right? So market's not in a sell right now. It's in a holding pattern at the moment, all right? And this is why you're seeing strength in the S&Ps. Look at finances, which are not in the Qs. Look at healthcare, which is not in the Qs, all right? That's why sector rotation is happening. Not a bad thing to see, to be honest, because we've lacked sector rotation for a while. So while nothing's happening, we should probably talk about some changes in the industry or in the prop firm world. You might have seen Tradeify launched today a new product, well, 2 new products actually. So now you can have a go at prop firm with Tradeify, pass it, and you don't have to choose the type of account until you're funded. And once you're funded, there are now 2 different types of accounts. All right. So when you're doing the select, you will have the choice of, once you're funded, of choosing a daily payout system or a flex payout system. So for a 50K account right now, it's going to cost you $95 to do the select. Your profit target is 2,500. Your max end of day drawdown is 2,000. There's no daily loss limit. You have a 40% consistency rule in the eval, $95 reset fee, no activation fee. Once you pass, you can now choose to have daily payouts, right? So that would be $1,000 a day, daily payout on a 50K. No consistency rule in that. Daily loss limit, $1,000. Max end of day drawdown, $2,000. Or if you'd rather, you can do the flex account, which will give you a payout every 5 days. Max payout $3,000. No consistency rule and no daily loss limit. So those are the choices. So if you want to move to daily payouts for $1,000 a day on a 50K, you can start trading with Tradeify now. I actually really like the flex account. I think $3,000 every 5 days is really good without having a consistency rule. That's the key thing there, no consistency rule. So lots of people starting to pivot towards that kind of product at the moment. All right, market still in a holding pattern. SPY still holding VWAP, now reclaim PDC, gone green on the day. We still have all of pre-market stuck above. All right, so this is the thing. We're just trapped right now. Nothing's changed from what I said this morning. Zoom out. All right, here's your supply. We can see what we're trapped against. Where's the wick, Mr. Wick? This guy down here. All right, and this is where we got thick up here. The profile will be way bigger up here from previous day point of control. This is your resistance or your supply, however you want to think about it. And intraday, we have shorts stuck down under here. And really, I'd like to see them come all the way down, wash these guys out, and bid back off the 200s. That would be a nicer move, but there's too much strength in the broader market to see that today. Yeah, we talked about this at the open, didn't we? It wouldn't surprise me. This is the type of market that we have. Big directional move, grind back up, and it wouldn't surprise me at some point then to see this. That's kind of what NQ likes doing at the moment. About this. Big directional move, grind back up, more of a directional move, grind back up, wash, grind back up, wash, grind back up, wash, grind back up, wash. You get the picture. It's just how it's moving. That's the market we're currently in. Yeah, it was Microsoft news basically saying that I think they've just said there's lack of demand for the AI products, less than anticipated. So obviously that affects all the chip makers because we're investing so heavily into chips and data centers and all this stuff for the AI. So if there's lack of demand, then suddenly your books don't look so good because you're investing in something which isn't as popular as once thought. So that's what it was. I can try and find the actual headline for you. Come on, Softy, where are you? AI companies are realizing there's no real world demand. Microsoft lowers AI software sales quota as customers resist new products. So there you go. So there's not that much interest from customers, or not as much as originally anticipated. Still, we're really not really above that 15-minute orb. Well, Peter, well, to be fair, news does normally come pre-market, but yeah, I feel your pain there, mate. I mean, I don't know what to say. There's a rhyme and reason for everything. All right, it's probably the reason probably is that someone was short and needed to get rid of, or wants to get long down here and has been pissed off with having limit orders sat here forever and not getting filled. So they pay their mate to release the article. Like, it fucking wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. It like NQ or the market to me, it just feels like a small cap. Since Trump comes in, it feels like a small cap. I'm not even joking. I'm being deadly serious. The moves we're seeing feel like small cap moves. They remind me of dirty Chinese tickers where it's completely corrupt. That's how it feels at this point. You know, release loads of news to make sure everyone dumps it. Absorb, 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 absorb. Tariffs are off. Send it to the upside. Get to the upside. Want it to become cheaper again and to trap sellers, release some horrible article which lasts all of an hour, reabsorb it, go back up. It literally feels like a small cap ticker. That's how it feels. Back to VWAP. This just feels like a VWAP day. We're in balance here. We cannot. This is how I would note it. We are not finding acceptance inside yesterday's range. For me, that shows weakness. All right? That shows weakness, failing to find acceptance. We've built lots of volume out here, which is not the prettiest. But all the time, we cannot get inside of yesterday's range. That's showing me weakness with the possibility of coming lower. That's how I would read this book right now. We are not finding acceptance into yesterday's range. It is simple as that. Remember, this is my level where I wanted to be short at. All right, so I've probably made my money. I'm all right with where I am at the moment. But all the time we are rejecting this. This is possible, but you're not seeing a sell-off day where all the market's in agreement yet. That can change. That can change. We're starting to see some weakness come in. Back down to this New York Open again, right? So if we don't protect this, we go red, and we come back down probably towards at least value area low. You can see this is your level where Mr. Million Bids, right, wanted to bid up the market. So we can put this in here. This is where he wants to pin. He wants to hold this value area. If this participant here, right, sold here on these pushes, and he's no longer here to absorb it, then you're going to see us just come under, aren't you? And then these are the targets, and we've got previous day low, previous week value, area high. But until we see that, I'm just going to sort of remain flat. And there is a chance, I guess, to fade here to here and bid this to this and keep doing this in this value, but it's not what I want to do. Don't want to play range rotation. Oh, I know, Troy. I know. But things can change. Like, look, have we got news here? I mean, this feels heavily manipulated. What is this? Look at this volume stepping in. But it's got to be. It's got to be news. Save the market. It's got to be news. That's a big shove on big volume. Like I said, feels like a small cap. Feels like a small cap. I'm searching for this, whatever this is. Trump. Oh, Trump's posted. Fantastic. Such a terrific victory for Matt Van Epps and his wonderful family last night. It would be fantastic. Representative Tennessee. Seeing him comment on Biden and the FBI. Not seeing anything else. So just a Truth Social post is all I'm seeing. News algos like that, do they? Apparently so. Just a casual 85 points out of thin air. That's the only news I can see is the Truth Social post. I don't know if anyone can see anything else. Maybe close the gap now and into this previous day point of control. So this is where everyone's stuck. Like I said, I'm not touching the rotation. I'm not interested in touching the rotation. It's far too dangerous for me. But this is the next key area. All right, so this was key area 1. This is key area 2. I still think they can sell this, but not if the market is going to have strength today. The broader market, that is. Previous day point of control coming up and close. This is all buying so far. Straight upside. Yes, it's go or SPY's not too far away from previous day highs. So that 680, that gamma level, they held it again. And back inside previous day's value we go. So a little rejection into that grey box. You can see this grey box here. This is your level, the volume from yesterday. I'd say this whole zone, right? This whole zone. Globex, PDC, point of control. That zone there. That's what sellers must defend. Failing to defend that, they've lost all power that they've had. They will lose all power that they've had if they fail to defend this level. Initial balance now set, is it as well? Yeah. That's a look above IB and fail so far, but they can still absorb this. This is just a very, very iffy market. The thing that I find hard with it is you would have to have a limit in these levels for it to drive into, because they are not giving you nice price action. Or we haven't seen it recently. We haven't seen something like this to risk off to come down. Recently, they've just done these sort of straight moves. Here wasn't too bad. At least that was a crack off 2 sell signals, but it was messy. It's a bigger problem as well is higher time frame at the moment remains bullish, doesn't it? Like the daily is just in general just in a drift higher. So reversing those drifts higher has become quite hard. Patrick, if you've bought it, there's a link. Have you gone through if you open up the Ninja Trader course, it tells you what to do. Once you apply for it, there's like a Google Drive, and it gets sent to you. So just open up that course and then follow it. Any issues, just shoot me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. But as soon as you open up that course, it tells you what to do, and then I get a notification, and you get emailed everything you need, and then you just need to send me your Ninja Trader machine ID. But it's all in the Ninja Trader course once you open it. Microsoft denied the quotas. Did they really? This is what I mean about a small cap. I mean, how? So this would be my opinion now. Who legally put that news out saying that they'd lowered the quotas? And then you want to look at what was their positioning before the news and after the news drop. Dirty. It feels like a small cap market, a manipulated Chinese stock. It's exactly how this feels. And there you go. There's proof of it. Fake news, make the market do something, bid it back up, release the news afterwards saying, oh, everything's okay. Make sure you make enough money. For example, I'm not saying this is what happened, but let's say Mr. 470, 460 all day needed to be long down here to meet his quota for his clients because he hasn't been able to get long. Okay, release the news from your hedge fund, big dumperama, absorb everything, finished absorbing it, you've got your quota of as many shares or contracts as you needed, and then get the news to be released saying, oh, but by the way, we're only joking. Boom, there's your quota, gaps filled, thanks very much, fulfilled my client's obligation. If you don't think things like that happen, you're mad. That's exactly what happens. Good luck proving it, though. Good luck proving it. Same way, good luck proving the spoofers we see on the book all the time. Indicator name, this is the Flowzone Pro. Comes with the course. It's available on the website, flowzonetrader.com. Everything you're seeing here. Banksters, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But it is like an episode of Billy. But that's how it is, guys. That's how it is. If you like, just think about the tariffs. Who do you think was buying the lows the whole time? The same guy that said, now's a great time to buy, right? If you don't think that was done on purpose, you're mad. Everything is done on purpose. It's calculated. It's not by chance. It is not by chance. Pelosi, well, Pelosi's gone now. Retired. The richest congresswoman and the best trader ever. Retired. Seeing another fail to move higher here. It's just dangerous. As you see, I'm not really interested in this at the moment, but we are rejecting previous day point of control and the gap fill right now. The structure is still bullish though. This is the problem. But this is the contested level that we've drifted into. Tell me that. Okay. Oh shit. Yeah. All right, darling. Have a good one. Going to get rid of this grey box just to clean this up a bit because you've got this here anyway. So the rotation now is between these, like we talked about. This is the resistance level. This can now potentially become a support level because now you have VWAP, previous day value, current day value. This is the rotation from 600 to sort of 540 in here, right? While they build out volume, bulls will look to reclaim this to get up to previous day's value area high. Bears will look to fade underneath this to complete the rotation back down to here. We've had numerous drives up this morning, but not seeing enough weakness. This is the tough thing for bears right now. And talked about they're having to sell these drives in and they're not getting follow through, so they never get to add size on. And if bulls hold this, they get squeezed out and you get the same thing. Same as here, same as here. Right? First test, fade, reclaim, squeezed out, never gets washed, reclaim, squeezed out. And if they hold this, reclaim, squeezed out. Kevin, I'm short from previous day point of control. Gap fill would be a valid target. Clean up the New York though. Gap fill is above you though. So what do you mean? You're short here. How's that your target? That's your gap fill. Gap fill's above you. We're still bullish in structure here. That's what I'm saying. You're not seeing weakness underneath initial balance. You're not seeing weakness. You're not seeing this here. Everything's holding. Even this hold here didn't even come all the way down to value. Remember, they've just said all that news this morning that caused the flush is not true. They can walk this thing right back up now if they want. I don't know what their intentions are. I have no idea what their intentions are. Just reading the news. I just think it's wild. How can you roll back such a big statement? We can drift all the way back up. If the reason we dropped was a news piece and they're saying, hey, that's not true, we can drift all the way back up. And this looks like the last few days, doesn't it? We talked about this in Discord. These kind of drifts, shallow pullbacks. You probably get one tug at some point. We go back to the last few days. Drifts, tug, drift. Last week was the same. Drift, tug. Drift, tug. tug. This was the other way around. Drift into range. Seen the same thing every single day. Tug, drift, 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 drift. It's just, we are where we are, folks. This is the market we have. Oh, short at the gap fill. Sorry, I thought you said, no, it says I'm short at the previous day point of control and gap fill with valid target would be a valid target. That's what I didn't understand, but anyway. There's your gap filled. There or thereabouts. That yellow line. Oh, I see. I'm short from previous day point of control and gap fill, comma. Would a valid target be clean up the New York light? I understand. Sorry. I understand. I mean, you're front running it. Structurally, we're still moving higher. Like, remember, you're now short outside of initial balance. This can be a rotation back up. You're inside yesterday's range. Where would a valid target be? I'd say the edge of value. I'd be covering some into 550. If you're short up here, you're counter trend versus what we're seeing currently. If you're short up here, I'd be TP1, point of control TP2, value area low TP3, and if you get really lucky, you get down here. But I would imagine any flush gets gobbled back up now. Unless you see a major shift in sentiment. VIX giving back the whole 9 a.m. push that it's had. So yeah, I'd be covering, if I was you, I'd be covering into each value area. You want to see this get underneath IB high. If you do not get under this, this is going to be a problem for you. So if you're short here, you need to see this breakdown. If you do not see that, then we're basing above IB and they can reaccumulate here to go higher. All right, so you need a break under this. For me, it's not a short right now. We're trend up in a high time frame liquidity building stage, so I'd be very, very cautious. If you get under IB and they sustain and walk down the offer, then maybe you get that flush to view up 550s. That would definitely be a cover point if you get lucky. But right now, it's not showing me that it wants to do that move. We're at a point of interest, but I wouldn't say we've had an entry. Definitely have supply overhead. There's no doubt about it. What it really comes down to, do those buyers at the end of day yesterday and in London and Asia want to get rid of their position? That's what this comes down to. Do the buyers overnight and at the end of day yesterday want to close out their position or not? If the answer is yes, you will get a move lower. If the answer is no, you're not going to see that because it means that supply overhead are quite happy to sit in it. Well, I would say so far, it's the first time I've seen selling into 600. Actual market selling. It's the first time in this candle. Not convinced highs in, but we'll see. Do you indicate in a trade now in Discord? Just wondering. If I'm in a trade or looking at something, yes, I always post it. In the afternoons, you mean? Always. I don't do it while we're live on stream. I think I had 2 attempts. Was it the day before? I got stopped out on both, unfortunately. Into end of day. I think it was the day before, so you can see here. So when was this? On the 1st, so Monday. So I called it first, long here. Needs to punch 420, otherwise a scalp. And then I say that I'm flat, and then I have another attempt at it. It didn't go either time. So break even both of those. But yeah, if I'm trading in the afternoon, I will always say what I'm looking at. even if I'm not actively trading, I'll say the levels that I'd be looking at and what we're looking for. But you can see everyone here. This is where we talk about the breakdown of the trades. It's the last one. I was away most of last week with COVID, so it's been a little while. Yeah, and even other people. Yes, I show it in the video, Eric. Yeah, I won't promote firms until I get payouts from them. So Funded Next, I passed and got a payout. I'm currently working on a few more of their plans. We're actually going to do a giveaway. I've got to organize it. We're going to do 3 Funded Next giveaways a month. We've done a deal with them, so we'll be doing 3 giveaways a month. I have to work out how to do it because we can't do it live on stream. They do it differently. So it's probably going to have to be a Twitter giveaway, or maybe we do a YouTube post and people have to comment, but it's just how they operate. So Apex we can give away live on stream. Funded Next we're going to have to do giveaways with some form of competition. But yeah, in the video you'll see, I think I can't remember, 2,500. Same with funding ticks. I took the maximum ones available. So I'm currently working, I'll be honest with you, I'm working on some Funded Next and Funded Ticks evals. I want to get fully funded for next year. It's my job at the moment. We just took some big payouts from Apex. So I really want to start scaling up with firms where I don't have consistency rules. That's my target for next year at the moment, is to do that and to take some bigger or some more swing positions. I feel like I've been in cash in this market for most of the year. At the moment, that's where I normally traditionally make a lot of money. This year's been a good year, but I feel like I've way underachieved. So my only positions, I'm still long Apple from 202, and I'm with size, so that's a good one. AMD, I'm still long, but I'm down to very small size in that. I was long from 58s, 158s, so still up nice on that, but I sold most of my position into that all-time high push. Amazon, I'm still long, but I'm barely up on that, up 7%. That's a long-term position for me. Meta, I took a starter position. I'm up just under 7% on that, and that's it. So I'm really wanting a bleed out in this market. I'm going to be honest with you, but I don't think it's going to give it to me. This feels to me like this market is very, very, very resilient, and all the time people are calling for the top and a bleed out. I just think it's going to keep going higher. The point of max pain is higher right now, I think, rather than lower. I think you've got probably more shorts trying to force this lower. And so a good chance we go higher. Whether we have divergence with the spiders, whether SPY makes a new all-time high in Qs, I don't know. And we'll see what. It all depends how we close out this year and how we open next year. Now, January can be nasty in the market, but we'll see. I have my own concerns macro-wise for this market. People were talking about QE, posted last night. The Fed injecting capital into banks is not quantitative easing. That is because there is a liquidity and credit issue, all right? So they are protecting the banks, which are clearly over-leveraged, I think, especially in crypto. I don't see that as a positive thing. People are like, oh, yeah, we're in quantitative easing. We shouldn't need to do it, all right? We shouldn't need to do it, which means there's a problem under the hood. I can't remember which one of you was short from PDC and Gapfill, but I would take a little piece off in this sort of area we're at now, especially if we reclaim this. If we sell this little node here, you're going to be okay. But I would reduce your size a little bit. And if you complete this rotation, you can hold on. All right. So I can't remember who it was taking the short around here. Previous day point of control. All right. There's 30 points in the bag. VWAPs will get you like another 20, 30 points. And if you get really lucky under here, that's where a bigger rotation can happen. But I would pay yourself along the way here. Looking good for you now. Looks really nice. So just make sure you're covering some, or if you haven't already, maybe into VWAP. Which props don't have consistency on funded? Funded Next Funding ticks. Sorry, my brain's like so fried. Funded next, funding ticks. Take profit once you get over the buffer, doesn't. Or it doesn't have it anyway. What else? The new Lucid one, I don't think does either. My funded futures, there you go. Yeah. I don't trade with them, but my funded futures as well. I don't know, but hopefully soon. I mean, I'm 2 weeks behind schedule, unfortunately, because I've had COVID. So I'm still, feels like long COVID because I'm still absolutely exhausted, energy wise. So I've been struggling to make the content. So what I've got left to do is Bookmap and level 2 and footprints and then the setups. So it's not that much left to do. It's just because I've not been well, I wanted it pretty much done by now. That's a good rejection of that grey box there. We just put this in, this grey box. So that shelf is starting to reject. So your short now is looking pretty good. All right. So now I'd say we're getting confirmation of trap buyers up here. Here's your TP1. You must take some profit off here. Even if you took some there, that was a reload opportunity. Profit off here and then hold in case they let this thing go. But don't expect it to be let go, but you can hold some runners in case they do. But here is a big TP, same as here. So VWAP and shelf here. This is the edge of value right now. Here is a TP and here is a TP. All right, but this was a nice rejection of this shelf. Really nice. All right, it came back up, rejected it. You would not want to see them reclaim that shelf. All right, for those of you who took the short here or took this back here, you do not want to see a reclaim of sort of 75s to 80s. That must stay heavy. When I'm passing different prop firms, do I execute at the same time or take your time by passing one by one? Normally do most at the same time, to be honest. Most at the same time. I quite like the new, and this isn't a sales pitch, use whichever copy you like, but the thing I like about the new Affordable Indicators trade copier is you can put in the targets for each account. So if you're trading accounts which are different, say for example, if I'm trading one which my target is 2,500 or and I can pass it in one shot, I can put that in. If other ones my target is I've got 40% consistency rule, I can put in like $600 or $800 target, for example. So I think they can be quite useful. Still rejecting that box. It's still looking good. I don't know why it's gone blue. I don't remember doing that. Still looking good. So what I'd be looking for here is this to stay heavy. This area here is your TP1. Hopefully you've already got some off. Point of control, TP2, New York Open. And I think if we come, in all honesty, if we come under this, they're going to be in big trouble. I would be somewhat surprised if they let that happen now, but you never know. You've got a new hourly bar coming in about 90 seconds or something, maybe less, 70 seconds. So just be aware of that. They have a better rhythmic sync too. Yeah, they've fixed lots of issues, and they now have it so you can trade if you want to trade on TradingView. You can execute on there as well. Quite like it. It's quite easy to manage. So just be aware, new hourly bar coming. Think about this last hourly bar. We are definitely confirming supply above, which is good. All right, so think about this. We talked about this morning. This is where buyers are stuck above. All right, this is why I said if we're going to rotate, this would be the maximum level I'd want to see us rotate to. If we sell this now, you'd want to sell back into these lows, and then you're holding runner for a breakdown because we have equal lows down here. But they might well just pin this. They can pin this here today. Passed some Apex yesterday, now focused on passing TPT accounts, but I feel like the jump between the two, it would be too much, especially when I haven't passed the buffer yet. What do you mean the jump between the two, Danny? Yeah, it's so much better. I agree. That's what I've started using. I need to do a video on it, but again, just COVID has really just zapped it out of me. Zapped the energy out of me. Be careful on a reclaim here. You need this level here that we've just traded into to stay heavy. If this level stays heavy, you can possibly get rotation lower. But remember, your overall trend is bullish. But here is your count. I would say your legs currently. This is internal. Did we make a new high there? Yes. All right, so we're trading inside this. You want this to see a rotation in here if you're bearish. Any reclaim up here, I would leave it alone. I would cut the trade. You start to reclaim this, I would leave it alone because they can try and force a squeeze. So you want this to stay heavy versus basically IB. Like having Tradeify open on both tabs and go between the two tabs with Apex. And one with TPT. Oh, okay. So you just have your two different accounts. I get what you mean. How do I manage the intraday draw with multiple contracts? Are you using micros? Yeah. Well, it depends on the account size. On 50Ks, I use micros. How do I manage the intraday draw? It's just don't oversize. Simple as that. Build your buffer. So you've reclaimed now. I'd be risk off at this point. I wouldn't like what I'm seeing. You can always re-enter. Well, some of you are short versus 5 days, so if you want to hold to that point because you've taken a TP, then that makes sense, I guess. So those of you who are short here, risking this, you got a TP1 off. I guess that makes sense, but I'd be somewhat concerned now. They hold this, that they're not going to come higher because they had the chance to reject here and they didn't. You can see multiple attempts, right? And shorts didn't get their way, and now we're reclaiming. I'm seriously thinking about selling everything in London given the new budget. Oh, I'm just going to get hammered now on tax. What a bunch of knobs. Oh. So bulls will want to defend this box here now. All right, bulls will want this to hold. That will leave these shorts stuck. So if bulls hold this, they will look to complete higher. So they're still in control. That's what I'm saying. Structurally, we're still bullish. This is what they're trying to do now. And if they get back through this, previous day value area high, previous day high, Globex, it's not all out the question. Remember, they've just unwound this whole thing. The reason that's caused this, from a macro point of view, they've just said doesn't exist. So they are trying to do this. I don't know whether they succeed or not, but that's what they're attempting to do. This is why I'm saying on that short, it was very much you had to take some profit off the table because you were front running it. There's so many issues in the UK now. I was looking at the big sale came in there at 600. They just defended that aggressively. No follow through though. So I'm just watching the tape here. That was really aggressive. They're still trying to get follow through. This purple line, where we're trading into now, this is where bulls want to defend. Is right here. All right. That's your over under. That's your sentiment. Yeah, I was reading the new legislation which is going to come in 2027 on ISAs. I mean, it's a fucking joke. It's just like, I can't believe. The problem is people don't read nowadays. They just go by a headline that they see. Right, so ISA's down to what, 12,500. You can still put 20,000 into a stocks and shares ISA, but they're going to get rid of a load of products. Right, so any leverage products probably going to go, which is fine. But they're probably going to get rid of like a load of things like T-bonds, bonds, anything where you can passively earn safe, because they want you to just invest. And they're saying it's for the good of the UK. No one's investing in the FTSE, for fuck's sake. Everyone's money is going in the Qs or in the Max. So it's got nothing to do with the UK. This is about having people invest poorly and BlackRock taking their money. It's so crooked what's going on. It's so crooked. And then they're now saying that if you leave your money, like, because historically you could leave your money, say, in trading 212 or whatever, and not be invested, and you're still going to earn 4%. Well, they're going to tax you on that. So in your ISA, if you put your money in a stocks and shares ISA in the UK from 2027 and that money is not invested, they are going to tax you on that. I mean, the scumminess of it is insane. What a shit country. I'm sorry all of you live in there, but you are being fleeced by an absolute thief who's trying to make herself out to be, you know, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. Absolute bollocks. Absolute fucking bollocks. It's all going to her mates. It's so bad. Thank God I'm not there. And I've talked to a few of my mates and we're all in the same position. Just sell everything. You're going to be left with an economy where no one is contributing, because anyone who's innovative, who's got cash and would historically open companies and employ people and invest in businesses and people, they're going to leave and do it elsewhere. What you're going to be left is 95% of the population putting their hands out, being like, help me, give me money, give me. There's no money to give. Everyone's left because you've punished them all too much. Because the mega rich don't care. It's the people who are creating businesses. They're the ones getting hammered. Yeah, I mean, I've got lots of friends in Dubai, Emirati friends, and lots of my mates moved from, you know, Saudi over there and Egypt over there. But it's great. I think Dubai is great if you're from North Africa in a suppressed state. But actually, if you move from Western world to Dubai, it's fairly restrictive. It's pretty, and the taxes are good. But actually, beyond that, in terms of being able to do things freely, it's not the best. Remember, I used to DJ there and go there 4 or 5 times a year. I've seen it all. I've seen how much it's changed, but short stint maybe, good for tax, but beyond that, pretty tough. You're not having a good blowout party, put it that way. I used to DJ at the F1 there most years, and Atlantis I used to play, and was it the Queen Elizabeth in the engine room? Used to DJ in there. Loads, played there loads. Gravity, used to DJ there a lot. Mambo, still drifting low. It's aggressive selling now. They've lost that level. So rotation now. So this over-under still exists. So they successfully defended this high. Bulls had the chance to absorb here. They didn't. All right, so new rotation. So first rotation here, 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 here. Second rotation between this and this. Reclaimed, top rotation, back to here. This rotation between here and here now. If they lose this, back down to POC and New York view up. We're doing for time. 50 minutes. Seeing more aggressive selling coming on a tape here. This is like, it's starting to be a bit more aggressive. They are actually, someone looks a little bit more upset. They're starting to aggressively come in here on a tape. This is probably the first time today I've seen it like this. Someone not very happy. Well, yeah, I mean, this is it. Like, here you go. Here's your TP. So those of you who got back in, here's your TP. All right, in here. Flush moment will be down to clean out these lows. All right, so TP1, TP2. Runners for unfinished business down here. I doubt they come down there for it, but just be aware of that. Yeah, price is trading, I agree. And it's just become a joke. It's become a joke, that place. You got to ask yourself, if all you do is put the taxes up all the time and people aren't happy, how about you change it? How about you do something different? Because it's clearly not working. And this constant excuse of, oh, we need you to help a bit more. Why? For what? And then I read today, more money going to Ukraine. You can't even fix your own fucking country, and you're giving all your money. You've just asked them to contribute a ton more tax, and you're just giving it away. It's absolutely ridiculous what is going on in that place. So yeah, as you can say, I'm really happy about it. Yeah, I mean, I think my mum was quite upset. I said to her last week, I'm never coming back. I'm never, ever, ever, ever coming back. They've just absolutely made that clear. I would rather close my 2 businesses down, sell my London house, and spend my money in an economy where it's valued more than do something there and be punished for it. Still flushing. So point of control coming up here. It's just flip point of control. So you cover points here now, and you can hold now for New York open. This is starting to look very, very heavy because these buyers up here now got trapped. And all the time, we're in a thick node here, so we can rotate in here for a little bit. Once they lose this, it's night-night. So this is your big node here now. And we chopped here earlier, remember, because they're trying to protect this big buyer who is here. So you should be locking in some good profits here, any of those of you who are short for that. But the difference in Italy is your cost of living is very, very, very low. And that's the big difference in Italy. Your cost of living in the UK is very high. Just notice my Ninja Trader's completely gone offline. Close this down. Reopen it. So POC VWAP holding. Coming back into, like I said, this node here is pretty thick. I would imagine this is where they'd want to protect it. Your runners only now. If they wash it for you, then fantastic. But no guarantee of that at all. And bulls will need to reclaim up here. Bears will want to defend, right, this level here. Bears will want to defend, especially up here. So any lower high that's produced here will cause a rotation back down to test POC under here in New York. We're literally just trading in rotation here today. Leg to leg, leg to leg. But you've just defended previous day's value area low, so you need to be aware of that. Once we get back underneath this will be a look above and fail, just like this was. And we can develop some form of weakness if we do that. But we're not seeing that yet. Yeah, I mean, that's the big difference. It's the cost of living. And my dad lives in Rome, has a place as well in Anzio. Well, it's the cost of living. That's the big killer in LA as well. It's the cost of living and the tax. Yeah, true. You have lower wages, but if you can earn an international wage and live there, you'll be okay. They're trying to sell this. There was excess on. I'll tell you what. There was excess on that low sell side at 530. There was sellers stuck underneath 28 right now. But we can come back for it. We haven't tested it really yet. So I'd say if they come back to 28 and hold it, if you have been short, if they come back to 28 or 30 and they hold price and go back upside, you want to cut the trade. $7.40 for a shandy. At least they can pour a pint properly, though. I had a beer in Palm Springs last week. It was $15. It was flat. It had no head on it. I was fuming. It's literally a joke. Why do they not know how to pour a pint in America? What is up with that? Why is every pint flat and never has head on it? I don't understand. It's the easiest thing in the world to do is pour a good pint. Tilt the glass, pull it on, make sure there's some head, leave it to settle. It's really not hard. I miss a good pint, man. And a good roast. I tell you what, I went out for I told my aunt this yesterday. So we went out for Thanksgiving lunch in Los Angeles. There was like 6 of us. So I paid for me and my wife. It was fixed menu, starter, main, dessert. Starter was a big plate of salad. It was distinctively average. It was like rabbit food. There was a few leaves and some sweet potato. All right. The roast was roast turkey. It was good. I'm not going to deny that. It was decent size. Roast turkey, potatoes, like parsnips and veg, maybe some Brussels, and a mac and cheese. And then dessert was a small pie like this with a little dollop of ice cream on it. I had 2 drinks. I had a martini and a glass of wine. I think my wife had 1 drink. What did it cost? What do you reckon that cost? Tip was included. Meal for 2, 3 courses, fixed menu, wasn't the best. Have a guess what that cost. This is going to shock you guys in the UK. You're not even close, SG. You're not even close. $420. The fuck is that? $420. Outrageous. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Me and my wife were saying, remember living in London, we used to go to Nobu and do like a bottle of champagne and like have a decent meal for like 200 quid. It is a joke, but that's Los Angeles now. I don't think you can step outside your room and get a meal for under $100 anymore. It just seems stupid now. And I'm on a moan today, aren't I? I'm on a right moan. And I feel like when you do shop at the supermarket, all the food's so bad. You buy like fruit and lettuce and it's gone off the next day. You're like, what did I just pay all that money for? Moldy cucumbers. There's no quality control here either. Oh, I would have loved that. $420. Wild. Oh, me too, Roscoe. That's somewhere I could live in Asia. Definitely. No doubt about it. Timing's not the best. I've got a couple friends out there. They love it. One's actually living between Bali and Dubai. It lives between the two. Cold in Buffalo, though, no? Okay, Bull's trying to reclaim this blue level, so this IB high. Can see, like we just talked about, the rotation. All right, rotation from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, from here back reclaim, back to the top, straight fail back down to the downside. Now they're going to try and reclaim. This is what's being built out. Relative strength in the spiders still. Let's have a little look across the market, see what's going on. Have a little look, see. So ES coming back into this sort of supply zone where we've been failing from. You can see it's reclaimed everything though, chomping through. You can see this pre-market pivot. This is your level on the ES. All right, gets through that, it's probably going to start squeezing. All right, this is sort of last chance saloon for bears to defend. We've had relative strength in there. YM straight ripper, RTY straight ripper. Let's have a look at the mag. Apple, nice squeeze up to start the day. That's what held this market up when we should have washed. It was all in Apple. Coming back down. If we start giving way here, you want to watch out. All right. If Apple does start giving away and getting trapped under here, it's got a dunk coming in it for about $3. So you might see a bit of weakness, and it looks like it's trying to. So you want to be careful with that. Amazon as well, trading underneath close, not reclaiming New York Open, so a bit of weakness there, trying to base out, but weakness there. Goog, that's a nice recovery. All right, it's a good, strong recovery. Here's your pivot. You can see we're boxed in here in Goog, but that's a good recovery off the low. They get above this box, it's got a chance to go leg up. Meta, weakness. All right, so Goog, the only half-decent strong one today. Meta, weakness. Microsoft, we can see where that news came out. Tried to find a bid. Question is, do they put in a higher low here now and try and reclaim the move? If they fail to do that, I would say I would watch Microsoft into 81 or 25. If they fail that, rotation as possible, because this can get stuck. Mag not looking too good right now, I'd say, outside of Goog. Nvidia doesn't look too good underneath New York Open. Selling into Globex. This is not a pretty look there. I'm starting to see weakness here as I look through these names. Tesla's starting to roll over as well. I would say this market's looking dangerous for a give back. If we look at the equally weighted, yeah, starting to look dangerous, equally weighted on the Qs. So if MAG starts to roll, you're going to see heaviness come into the market. And while we were doing that, it started to happen by the looks of it. So it's still doing the dancing range, but doesn't look too pretty, I would say, out there on the mag right now. Yeah, well, Vegas, you get a tax break. That's probably why. That's nice. Exploit the vibe. It's funny, like I have like actively been talking about that. The hard thing is my wife works here, so a move away from California is going to be very hard. Yeah, I'm the same. I need Ocean as well. So you're seeing that roll back to point of control and VWAP, but you're seeing these mag names we just talked about start to rotate a little bit. I didn't have a choice, Richard. I didn't have a choice. We moved for my wife's work. It wasn't up to me. Right, I'm going to be right back. Rotation continuing. I'm in Playa Vista, Roscoe. Yeah, I get it, Adam. I get it. It's got to be tough there at the moment. I've got so many friends just fuming, absolutely fuming with it all. Like one of my really good mates there, he's a firefighter and his wife's a constable. So public service, all right, public service, loveliest people, new baby. They've got another kid who's 4, having to remortgage their house at the moment to make payments. Absolutely broke, and they're going to get taxed more. And you're like, that's the person getting hurt, you know? Someone in the public service sector getting absolutely destroyed, struggling to put food on the table for their 2 kids. I mean, it's just devastating. This whole thing about we're helping, you're not helping people. Right? They're not helping people. They can't make their mind up with this market. You can see just chopping around. You are starting to make lower lows and lower highs, but it was still holding. I would say that this part down here still remains like a really big key pivot in this market. All right, so this can just be a liquidity build. I don't know if they want to complete a rotation up here or if they let go. I genuinely don't know what they want to do. All I know is that currently in the queues, buyers are trapped up here and sellers are trapped at these lower days. And the rotation is just happening between these 2 levels until we make a decision, right, of, okay, we're actually going to start selling this and come back down to a reasonable level to bid it back up, or, hey, this was all a fabricated move so that we could buy everything really cheap and this is going to act as a rotation high. I don't know which they want to do. I just don't. No way of knowing that right now. And you can see that in price, right? Right, buyers exhausted down here, sellers exhausted down here, and the chop inside current day range, inside previous day range, creating a new balance range. And if we zoom out on a weekly, we are probably still within the previous 2 weeks balance range. Let's have a look. Actually, need to go to higher time frames. Yes. All right, so we're still within this big section here of supply. All right, but the longer we're here, the more likely this move is, because we're not seeing, for example, a drive back in and a big reaction. So the longer we're there, the more chance there is, the longer we're here, of chewing through this. Now, if they find acceptance over the 900s, then I have no doubt all-time highs is coming. But we're just at a decision-making point at the moment. And you can see it right here. I mean, look how gross this is. Think about it. Dump yesterday, drive it back up. Dump this morning, drive it back up. No lows taken, no highs taken. You're at the midpoint. This is very tricky to trade. Like I said this morning, I made it really clear I don't want to trade in this zone here. I don't. I want to see reactions to trade lower or reactions to trade higher. I don't want to get caught up in this. This is pretty much like the same thing I posted in Discord yesterday, folks. If we go over what I talked about yesterday, the no trade zone yesterday, for the same reasons, because we don't want to get caught in liquidity being built. All right, same thing yesterday. Same kind of zone, sort of 500s to 600s. Same zone, right? Same zone. 500s to 600s, same zone. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous zone. Looks like they're trying to force this now, but it's not something I want to touch. Yeah, exactly, Roscoe. Yeah, super close. Super close to the beach and airport. Well, that's the bit, Adam, that makes me laugh. This whole line of we're lifting kids out of poverty. Bollocks. You think that money's going to be spent on the kids? Get out of it. Get out of it. What a load of crap. Can't wait to see these kids lifted out of poverty. And also, you're stifling people's, I don't know, want or need to have success. You know, if I want to sell all my assets because I don't want to be there anymore and I'm going to close down, if I'm going to close down my record label, that's going to affect 5 to 10 people who I'm no longer going to give money to. All right. So times that by millions of people, you know, you've got a vacuum. You've got money leaving the UK and going elsewhere. And you've got less people making money because people like me are taking jobs away. Who are you taxing then? It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Stupid. Stupid government. Stupid. But what do we expect? You know, they're all a bunch of idiots. Doesn't matter what party they are, where they're from. They're all a bunch of pricks. All right, squeeze up now. So failed to break lower. They had a reattempt to break lower, failed to break lower. That's the continuation. And they're going to look to come all the way up here to test previous day value area high, previous day high, and Globex. They're going to try and walk back this whole move. All right, this was probably heavily manipulated so that they can buy it cheap to get all the way back up. It's just like we said, we're trading a small cap. We're trading the biggest small cap in the world, but that's what we're trading. What level do we need to break to call this a bear higher time frame? Oh God, a lot. I mean, it's not bearish higher time frame. I mean, bulls have the impetus right now. I would need to see a breakdown inside of previous week's value and really like let go of 950s. If we start let go of 950s, then I think bears have got a case. But you know what? All I want to see is a pullback to 950 to buy it at the moment, and we're just not seeing that. Bears failing to do their job. And this just seems like it was a big manipulative trap. Release some PR, which is bullshit. Protect the low, knowing that everyone will look for that rotation, and then release an article saying, hey, this up here was wrong. Okay, and up we go. If there was a governing body, wouldn't you investigate this? Problem is, the people doing this, the people in charge of the market. Dirty games. So back above the close price. VIX is getting absolutely pummeled right now, folks. And ES is not too far, or SPY not too far from previous day high. Where's ES? Is it there? It's not too far either. It's at Globex. So you've got like a triple top up here on ES. So every push into 64, 63, and 62 so far has been sold into over the last, what's that, 4 days, 5 days. But, you know, we've been up here many, many, many times. At some point, it's probably going to bust through it. Can't keep doing this forever. What a market. Bulls in control right now. 20 minutes left. I'm going to get out of it. So I'm just catching up on the news here. I don't know why everyone gives a shit so much about this Fed appointment. Like, we know who it's going to be, and we know he's going to be a puppet. So why does it matter? So stupid. We won't need a 50-year mortgage if they lower rates. I mean, I don't think the mortgage has got anything to do with rates. It's to do with the housing prices and the lack of capital. I don't think that's going to make a difference. Save 1 or 2% on the mortgage, it's not going to make a difference. Do you guys think they actually get rid of inflation? Inflation in what do you call it? My brain's gone dead. Tax on your earnings. Trump saying he's going to get rid of it. Do you think that actually happens? Because they're making so much money. That's what they said. You don't think so, Miguel? It'd be great if they did. I don't think there's a hope in hell of it happening, but they'd find it somewhere else, no doubt. Bulls still in control here. They just held previous day point of control there and the close, the 600s. That's your over-under for a re-squeeze higher. They can afford to drift back into this grey box and shelf. So you can see current value on the day. They're now trying to hold current value on the day. So bears had the chance for this rotation here. We got absorbed. At the time, this was value low on the day, I'm pretty sure. There's your higher low, and they've gone for a squeeze. There's your continuation pattern. Now, if they hold this, the completion will be previous day value area high, previous day high Globex. That's what they're trying to do for a completion. Your buying location is obviously gone. Like I've said, I've maintained since pre-market, I'm not trading in here. I'm not interested in trading in there. It can do whatever it wants. Market's gone to sleep, man. Slow drift. I really want to see where that news came from on Microsoft. I can see the news. I'm looking for the source, the original piece of the news. Sorry, folks. I know it's been a slow day, but I promised myself I wouldn't trade in here, so I'm going to stick to that promise. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to get chopped up in that zone. It's too thick. Previous 2 week balance range, current week balance range, previous day range. Microsoft didn't recover, no, but the rest of the names did, and no, it might yet still recover. And in fact, I'm fairly sure it will if everything else recovers. Might not recover today, but isn't it wild how we've just grinded all the way back? We talked about that right at the beginning. It's very possible that's what they're going to want to do, just grind the whole thing back. And they're doing a pretty good job of it. Oh, really, Miguel? Mine seems fine. I've got it on. I always have it up here on another screen, actually streaming from YouTube, and it's been okay. I haven't seen a problem. They're trying to re-squeeze this, and buying, trying to come in here. It depends if they're able to hold. They're being sold into at the moment. So they just got caught again, trying to re-squeeze it above 13. Passive seller up there just met them and said, hey, no, you're not coming up. This is why I don't want to trade in this zone. You can see the edge of value here, this grey box. It's what buyers want to hold this here to force a squeeze out. Failing to do that, we go back into rotation. That's your level that they can rotate to between these two. Underneath that, between these two, same as we've done here. Right, it's just level to level. It's back test level to level. Buyers still in control for me. Right, main pivots sort of like this right now. Right, so all the time this is being held, buyers still technically in control. And I'd say they'd want to hold definitely this and possibly this. And you're running out of time. Yes, coming into that zone where and SPY where it's sold off every time it's approached it. At some point that's going to give. I don't know if it's today. Let me check the daily. Previous day close it. I'd say break 673 opens you up for 720 and then 830. This is your old box. Just do it on a 5 minute. All right, that's your supply. Never broke the low. This is gross. Never broke the low. held this old volume edge clearly. Didn't want to let this go, so we know this is a big demand pocket down here. The only thing left for them to do is try and get through this and start this squeeze and then attack some stops from here. All right, so sort of 7.16 and 8.30. That's what they want to do. Whether they can do it in today's session or not will have to remain to be seen. We can see it's a big, big, thick area. Yes, Apex finished. They haven't told me if there's anything else. I haven't heard anything. I did say yesterday, like, I've had no information from them regarding that. So as far as I'm concerned, it will just be a 50% sale for a little while at the moment. And as soon as I hear something else, I'll tell you. You just got long into 595. I mean, you're a little late in the day and we're coming into lunch. Where's your stop? I mean, you're asking for it to increase value. You're looking for that. But don't be surprised if it wants to come down here. And just don't be surprised if this whole area just rotates. All right, because it's told you that's what it likes doing in this area. All right, and if I went back 4 weeks, there's more here. Let's go a long way back because it's 3 weeks ago, I think now. All right, in here, same level. Look how it rotates in this area. Rotates, 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 rotates. All right, so just be aware of that. Really big area. That's why I'm trying not to trade in it. So I've said all day, I'm not going to trade in that zone. It's I don't like trading rotation. I like markets which have trap traders in or in breakout. There we go. So rotation starting again. If it loses grey box, it's going to come down to this blue box, like I just said. All right, so you're late in the day trying to long here, and you're liable to come down into this node here. All right, so they might reject this and come down into this now. If they fail that, they come right back down into here because this is where you've rotated all day, and every look above here so far has failed. No different now. And S&P just failed that same level. It's failed 4 times now over the last, I don't know, 5-6 days. All right, and there's the rotation again. This is why I don't want to trade in this area, folks. This is exactly why I don't want to trade in this area. So here's your blue box. If they fail this, they keep coming down to the grey box underneath. If they find a bid here, they're coming back and back test that grey box above. It's just understanding the conditions. This is a rotational market. These are the conditions we are being dealt at the moment. I find these very frustrating. So I try and get my bag and leave the rest alone. Because if you're trying to sit, unless you are the guy with the knowledge who's like, look, this is all bullshit, and then we're not going to take this out. If we'd taken that out and then reclaimed, I would have been happy about taking a long, because we'd have no reason to come back down here. The fact that we left that made very hard to think about taking longs. But if we think about the structure, rebase, rebase, tried to rebase, failed down into here, tried again, failed down into here. All right, this is still moving upside. This whole thing, if they want to collapse this whole thing and come down for here, they can, because they haven't taken out this low. And that makes it very hard for me to be convinced about taking a big bullish move higher right now. But they've got targets above. Think about the SPY. It keeps failing these same levels. Right, this same level. We just talked about it. This is your box. Think about those in Discord. Think about what we went over this morning. Here's your box on SPY. Where's my Discord? Where's this morning? There's your box. All right, we talked about it this morning. We're still boxed in. Nothing's changed. We're boxed in. We've traded to the top side of that box. We failed that box. VIX still boxed in as well. It's dripping lower, but it's still boxed in. We're not breaking out. All right, so we're just seeing exactly what we expected today. It's all about how much frustration can you deal with. Because right here, we're building liquidity, higher time frame. Big head and shoulders on a daily. That's what everyone's calling for. But, you know, until we break down, I think it's very hard to call for that. It's what everyone's trying to call for. But I would argue, right, the big loudmouths on Twitter who were calling for that here, saying, oh, we're going to go back up and we're going to form the right shoulder, right? You're already above that right shoulder line. I'd say there's two problems with this. One, we swept this low. Damage was done. Lower Bollinger Band. Two, we're above the shoulder line. Doesn't look too good, because if they keep holding this, all these guys who are like, we're going to go back to lows, we're going to go back to lows, we're short, we're short, we're short, we're short, we're short. If we go here for a week and then we break out above this, guess what happens? All right. So this is why I'm apprehensive right now about having too much bias, because I know how many people are short, calling for the collapse of this whole thing. Oh, it's the end of the market. It's the AI bubble. All it's done, or like I had the same argument with my dad yesterday. All right, he's like, this is going to nothing. All I know is we swept that liquidity. That was a big kill candle on volume, and the next day we came back with a big buy candle, and since then we've drifted higher. There have been bears have had the opportunity. They could have come in the holiday week. They could have come in on Monday and Tuesday. They've had plenty of opportunity to come in and slap this back down. All I know is we swept liquidity and we've traded higher. We're through that right shoulder line. If they build out liquidity here for long enough, those bears are going to get themselves caught in big, big, big trouble. Would I like it to come down here? I absolutely would love it to come down here, because then I think we can make a better decision, higher time frame, about what we want to do. But all I can do is what's in front of me. We're not doing that. And beyond that, if we look at the spiders, it don't look like a head and shoulder to me on the spiders. All right. Same story. If it holds this is a bullish rotation back to highs, and markets can stay irrational. And this is building out a huge range now. If you think about what we've actually done since September, this is just a giant range. Okay, tops do take a long time to form. If this is going to be a top, right, you don't need to pick it up here, because once we break this liquidity, it will offer that trade back down to the 200. But we don't need to be trying to force our way, being like, this is going back down to here. There is nothing in this right now to suggest it's doing that. I'm just being honest. I'm a bear at heart, but there is absolutely nothing in this market suggesting that's what it's going to do. And we have to be observant of that. Now, can the Japanese bonds cause a liquidity problem? Yes. Have we probably already priced in a rate cut? Yes. Is it possible we have a freak event and find weakness? Yes, but we don't trade possibilities. We trade what's in front of us. So you go, there's your second rotation. So there's the flush to the blue box that we talked about. There's the failure of the grey box. There's the flush through the blue box back down to the next grey box. And your rotation is between here now. And if they start to let go of this, you have this as your target down here. And if they let go of this, I think you have unfinished business down here. But it all depends if and what they want to do, because we're in a rotational market. We are still trading inside of yesterday's value until we let go of that and see a sustained auction lower into these levels. I'd be cautious. Be cautious. So if it drops to bottom of grey box, would you consider a long? On the SPY, Yeah, I mean, you'd have to technically all the time it's holding it, but you know, like you're looking at, it's basically the 680s, right? The gamma level. If we start getting closes underneath that gamma level and we start rejecting that gamma level, then I think, you know, the market might find some problems, and then you're going to see a rotation to 78, 75, and maybe even 70. And then we get a deeper pullback in the market. But yeah, I mean, how many times are we going to test 680? I don't know. W on that failure of the grey box to previous day value area low. Oh, nice. Lovely. So you took that. Really nice. Great trade. Range rotation trade. Point of control, value area low. Cover point here. Expect it to try and test here. Otherwise, if they build out here and you find weakness, New York open and this blue box down here. And if they get through that, lower day. Couple minutes left for lunch now. So nothing's really changed, right? Zoom out. Nothing's really changed. Just a bit of a dunk like we talked about. Grind up, grind up, grind up, dunk. Probably grind up. Back test of 75-ish is going to be key now. Do they sell that or not? That's what I would have in my mind. Do they sell that blue box above you, where the red line is, the point of control on the session? Do they sell this or not? If they recover this, then guess what? We're going to go back for rotation again. And this is just washing backwards and forwards. These are... if you like trading trend or continuation, these are not your markets. All right. If you like trading trend or continuation, these are not your markets. You just need to understand that and respect it. Just don't try and force a trade in a market which is not there to be traded if that's what you're looking for. If you are looking for continuation, this ain't it. Coming in to fill some of these imbalances now. SPY just found a bid on PDC and VWAP, by the way. So it's got an imbalance all the way up to sort of 83 now on SPY. Does it make sense how we go level to level, level to level? Are you able to identify that? That's what really matters. Because that's the market we're in. And until that changes, that's what you've got to get used to. So they're trying to defend this blue box here now. That, I say they're trying to defend it. That will be their ambitions, bears, will be to defend this blue box. All right, somewhere around here. If they fail to defend this, then we're going to go right back up to the 600s. If we go through that, you could see a new high day. It's very, very possible. All I do is I look at the options data the day before the open, and I just look at like the most heavily traded level. Where's the call wall? Where's the put wall? All I know is the most traded thing in the market is the SPY, right? So what I care about is that SPY level, that 680 level. That's just basically my guide at the moment. All right, the SPY is basically my guide for whatever might happen next in the market. All you want to do is look for the biggest, chunkiest levels, all right? And look at how we've reacted there for quite a few times. If you look at 680 on the SPY, they do not want to let it close under that level. We talked about that same level yesterday. Blue box, they do not want it under this level. It is clear as day. Look, every single time. Once we got over it, that was it. So from the 26th of November, they have not wanted the SPY underneath this level. They've saved it every time. Right? So that is your telling you funds don't want it under here. If we trade under and reject it, sure, we can see downside, like I said, to 70. It's probably a 10-point move in that, but that's not what we're seeing. So all we've got to do is respect what we're actually seeing. So back towards the grey box now. Previous day point of control. Drifting all the way back up, isn't it? And if they don't meet this with some heavy volume, then we probably reclaim it all. So sellers need to come in around this level that we're at now. It's current point of control on the day, I think. Yes, it is, which means it's the most traded level of the day where we are now into lunch. Yeah, exactly. Same for me, Roscoe. I'm going to try and drag myself to the gym. Really struggled post-COVID. I've lost so much weight. Gross amount of weight lost it. All right, folks, that's it. I will set some price alerts, but until we move outside of value from yesterday, I'm not really interested in touching this. I've made that abundantly clear. Pre-market and during the session, this is not something I want to touch. Not when we're doing these kind of things. You can see it here. It's just, you're pinned, folks. All right, this is your pin. You're pinned. Till that changes, leave alone. Why bother? Why even bother? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Why bother? All right, team, and those in Discord, I'll pop in later. I'm going to have a break, get coffee, walk Luna. What's the weather like? Not too bad. Drag myself to the gym. We'll chat later. Good luck those who continue to sit here. Just ask yourself, if you don't see your trade, all right, if you haven't seen your setup, if you're just sat here staring at the screens, why bother? There's a whole world out there. Do something else, all right? Don't sit here giving your money back to what, frankly, is a shit market. Right, don't do it. Don't do it. Peace and love, everyone. Speak to you tomorrow.